trees help us release tension as we walk, line up in series when we run, and shelter us under their shade. They work their way into our way of life, and sometimes what affects them affects us and our pets too. We have created very homogeneous groups of trees where diseases spread more easily, and some of their threats are in part also ours. The pine processionary, which in its adult state is a moth, lays eggs after copulating which gradually turn into caterpillars. When they reach their maximum development after feeding on needles, these caterpillars climb down from the trees in single file lines and they bury themselves together, as that's the only way they can do it. After about a month underground, they have become pupae, and when the weather conditions are the most suitable, they emerge under the needles again as moths, completing their life cycle. They are one of the most important pests in our pine forests, as they cause real disruption in those forested areas that are commonly used for social and sports purposes because of their stinging hairs as from their third larval stage. We must learn how to live with this uncomfortable companion, which is found naturally in our pine forests. The pine processionary is an endemic species and is evolved with our trees, being the greatest consumer of their needles. Very few animals consume these leaves that take so long to decompose, but the processionary transforms them into nutrients. But it is true that their presence is very annoying. For this reason, we must add our efforts to the work carried out by other species in the natural environment, our partners in the fight against the processionary. Parasites and predators control the pine processionary population in a natural way, reaching a balance in accordance with their place in the food chain. But problems arise when that natural balance is broken. Our trees rarely grow old by our side, as we dispense with them before they become a danger to human beings, and so they don't develop the cavities that our natural allies need to reproduce, precisely where we need them so much. Las Rozas has opted to implement an integrated pest management system, whose objective is to minimize the use of phytosanitary products without posing a threat to the health of the city's trees. And in a way that those who follow us closely can understand the course that the management of our urban areas must take, and discover the true value of supporting the ecological balance. In an integrated management system, it is essential to implement a methodology for the detection, assessment, and monitoring of the phytosanitary status of the species most sensitive to diseases and pests. Collar traps are used to capture processionary caterpillars when a line of them climbs down the trunk of a pine tree, while GE traps, which are baited with a synthetic odor similar to the one released by female processionary moths, capture males attracted to the scent. Both are used to reduce the processionary population in the area. They are selective capture methods because a controlled population of insects is not detrimental to the viability of our trees. In specific cases, when deemed necessary, we use tree injections, applying phytosanitary treatments by direct injection into the vascular system of the trees, which is completely harmless to the health of people or animals. Our strategy is to return to that natural balance, to nurture the populations of the small birds in the Peridae family, which are able to break the processionary's nests and feed on the larvae. For this reason, Las Rozas is placing a large number of nest boxes in its forested land, thus alleviating the shortage of hollows. Follow-up is also carried out to find out which species use the nest boxes, and after the reproductive period, the nest boxes are cleaned to remove the old nests and prevent the proliferation of parasites. We are reinforcing the feeding of these beautiful birds in almost every season of the year. More than 95% of the young individuals of these species died during their first year of life due to a lack of food. With this measure, we significantly increase the population of these small birds, popularly known as tits or titmice, helping them to reach adulthood, which is when they are usually ready to open the processionary nests. Hoopoe boxes have also been placed in areas where there is a processionary problem. This species, with its long beak, is able to detect buried processionary pupae or caterpillars and is able to eat a large number of them, making these birds essential neighbors in our parks. Another essential measure is the placement of shelter boxes for bats. A bat can eat half its own weight every night. Experts have calculated that this can mean between 500 and 1,000 insects per bat per night. And as they fly at twilight and at night, they coincide with the flights of these appetizing moths. We have started along a path where spraying with chemicals has been left behind. Likewise, spraying with bioinsecticides and fumigating with bacteria will gradually give way to the natural search for ecological balance, in which, with our support, our protagonists will be able to restore balance to the green areas of Las Rozas, our city.